Good morning from Panhandle Outdoors with Winston Chester. Panhandle Outdoors, your source for fishing, hunting, and information for folks who enjoy the great outdoors. Now sit back, relax. It's Panhandle Outdoors.
Good morning, folks. Welcome to Panhandle Outdoors. I'm Winston Chester. Glad to hear this Tuesday morning. Got a big show lined up. We start our weather brought to us by Haney Technical Center at the corner of Baldwin Road and Highway 77. Come by and check them out. They've got a great welding program there, computer repair class, nursing programs, all kind of good stuff there, and good teachers, and they'll certainly fit the bill for whatever you need. Now today's high is only going to be 87. We have yet to hit 90 in July. It's just fascinating to me. It's just been a weird July, rid of all this rain and cool weather. The low tonight will be 73, and the water temperature though has gone up back to 84. So it's creeping on up there. Now the river reading, take a look at the Bluntstown reading here in Apalachicola River. It's been high. It's got up to 17, then it's down. This morning it's down to 14.8. And it's sort of slow dropping, but now it's going to drop on out a little bit more rapid starting tomorrow. The Choctaw at Caraville, high water on the Choctaw River. We're talking about a 13-foot reading this morning, and it's not really going anywhere. You know, we just had rain almost every day up here in northern Holmes County, Washington County. So I'm really looking for this to reverse the trend right here and really start going up. So on tomorrow's reading, we'll see if this is correct. Okay, our tide chart brought to us by Kent Forest Lawn Funeral Home and Cemetery, where caring counts is their motto. And looking at their tides today is the 16th of July, and we're looking at we're sort of getting in a neap tide, or getting out of a neap tide. We have a high tide this morning at 4:38 and a low this afternoon at 3:09, but we only got like a 0.6 foot range. Now tomorrow is going to kick in pretty high, and then especially Friday and Saturday. Thursday, Friday, and Saturday have some really good tides, okay? Our marine forecast, if I can pull it up right here real quick, it's going to be tomorrow. Well, let's look at today's marine forecast. We're going to have it at southwest, let's see, at 5 miles per hour, so it's not bad. Actually, it's going to swing on around the east. I'll take that back now. I'm looking at the wrong day. Tomorrow, east-northeast at 10 to 20. I was reading it yesterday. All right, east-northeast at 10 to 20. I'll take this break, and we'll be right back. Hi, welcome back. I always like to show you all kind of great pictures, and all about 95% of the pictures are here locally, but every now and then I get a picture in a surrounding area, maybe somewhere else. And this picture now was taken about 2 hours south of us, but this is a Goliath grouper. It was caught. Of course, these are illegal to keep and all. They just happen to be brought up to the boat, and usually people don't even try to bring them up very high. But this is what a Goliath grouper looks like. And all the old black and white pictures you see of the early catches in the area of these huge fish, this is usually the fish they had, and they become illegal to catch quite some time ago because there are not that many of them left, and they live a long time, and really the meat on them is not very good at all, but that is a huge fish, and we do have them here. We actually have some out in the bay, but some really huge Goliath grouper around this area, so just wanted you to see what they look like, okay? Now, next picture here. This is romance. This young man bought him a new boat, and guess what happens? He gets a new girlfriend. But there's a story behind that. I don't have time this morning to tell you two of my former students, and I'm going to tell you a good story on it. But okay, this is a young lady. She and her husband was fishing with Matt Smith Saturday morning. We actually were putting in next to Matt, so I met her at a boat ramp, and Matt sent me the picture that afternoon. The couple was from Texas, and she caught a pretty redfish. What I wanted you to really look at was the color of the redfish now. All our bay waters, and this past weekend I was just fascinated with how stained the water is, and gives that tan-colored, copper-colored coloring to that redfish. See it in the scales there and all? It's because it's just reflecting from the water this time of year, so much of the rainwater, and our bays look sort of like tea right now. All right, check this one out. Now, this is a black drum Joe Sims on a 37-inch black drum. Nice fish there. Most of y'all can sort of recognize where he caught it right there, okay? And we're about to run out of red snapper pictures because the season's winding down, but this is buddy Keith Nelson. Keith is an excellent fisherman, and good job there, Keith. Beautiful weather. He was able to catch in between the storms there. about a nostalgic view of the grill restaurant down in Apalachicola in the 1950s. It's still there. It doesn't quite look like this. You still got that The Grill sign and the old seafood place, and that was a great place to eat. A lot of people ate breakfast there. Okay, that catches up with our pictures. Now, let me go ahead and mention this so you can go ahead and put it on your calendar. You know, we love tournaments. All kind of fishing tournaments go throughout the Panhandle. And by the way, if you want me to announce anything about a tournament or boat show, anything you're having concerning the outdoors, it's free of charge. I'll be glad to announce it and all. And it's just one of these win-win situations for everybody. But there's a couple of tournaments sort of tug at my heart, and it's really special to me. Really, two of them. One is Elizabeth Bardoff Redfish Tournament we have up here in Lynn Haven, and we know the story there, and that's just really a special tournament. And the other one is Sea Quarters Marina Tournament they have every year the first weekend of August. It's the Sea Quarters Kingfish Shootout, and both of those tournaments come from family tragedies, and the families have taken a tragedy and try to turn it into something good, and I just love this attitude, and you know, we talked about the Sea Quarters Marina Kingfish Shootout before, and I've been fortunate to my buddies and I have been fortunate to win it one year, and we fish it every year, and it's just a great group of people fishing, and the camaraderie and all is king fishing. So go ahead and put this on your calendar. All the information is right here. I'm gonna have Miller that's coming in this week, and he's gonna come on the show. Guaranteed payout of $16,000. This is our 10th annual one, the 10th one, and I'm just fascinated with it. And we're going to talk more and more about it. But it's going to be the first weekend of August there. Okay, first place $5,000. I guess I'll tell them to go ahead and write a check. August the 4th, the captain's meeting. That's a Friday, so it's that first weekend of August every year. And all that money just goes to a great cause for leukemia research. And we'll talk more and more about that. But I want you to go and put it on the calendar. I'd love to see some folks up here in Mexico Beach and Panama City and over here in South Walton and North Walton, Jackson County. You know, you don't have to be an outstanding, great fisherman. You just got to be a little lucky at times. And that year we won it, we were just in the right place where some big kings came in, and we caught one. It's as simple as that. So. And just do it for the fun of it. Bring a group of people with you. All right, now, let's go into this past Sunday morning. I love reading the Sunday paper, and one of my favorite parts to read is of course, Scott Lindsay's article. But Marlene Womack writes an Out of the Past, and Marlene's a friend of mine. I've known her a long time, and when it comes to history, there's no better person to know history in the Panhandle than Marlene Womack. And she's pulled out a diary from Destin. And it's so ironic because it's so similar to the diary I found here from St. Andrews. And this was from 1881. The Destin family actually settled over there, but this was from Fanny Destin, and she was writing a diary. And I'm going to just read you a couple and show you how important fishing was and how important you know, the food they had to have. Okay, I'm just going to read you a couple of excerpts from it. I get a kick out of it. But one of the things I noticed is similar in both diaries. One of the first things they talked about was a wind direction, which way the wind was blowing that morning when they got up and started writing a diary. If they wrote at night, what happened that day, where the wind came from. And she went on and on, and one of the excerpts right here. Now, keep these dates in mind if you're fishermen. This is May 27th. Okay, a couple of things happened there, but she said, Dad went fishing today, and they caught 300 pompano and got some turtle eggs. So that's not bad. Dad and a couple of them went, and that's not bad right there. The biggest deal, though, were the turtle eggs. They used to eat those turtle eggs just like we eat chicken eggs. And but that was May. But now the next day they went fishing, no fish. But, well, probably because they got 300 the day before. But it goes on to several more excerpts, and then on a page back here on the back page. Some of y'all may have read this, but I just want to share it with you because there's a couple of things real quick. And then in June, same nice day. The wind is coming out of the west, and then it talks about the honeysuckle blooming and 3 or 4 other interests. But if you get a chance, anytime you can look at a diary, it's fascinating because back then it's the best way we can get an idea of what happened back then. I started reading Sunday morning, so I started digging through my old notes, and I pulled out my diary. I found it. What I did when I found the diary on the Ware family, I just happened to I went to school in Florida, so I knew down in the library there, and the second story, I'd been up to it before, and it was just full of all kind of historical memorabilia. And as an 18, 19-year-old, it's not that big a deal, but as you get older, that's just sort of in the back of your mind. So when I started researching the book, I told Gail, I said, let's go down there one week and spend some time. So we drove down there and spent 3 or 4 days in the area, and I went up to the library, and I talked to the curator and said, told him what I was doing. He said, I've got a box full of old stuff, but nobody's ever asked for it, but I'll go up there and find out. He put some gloves on my hand, and he came out with a box and pulled out some old pictures and all, but pulled out an actual diary from 1882. It was written by Francis Ware, part of the Ware family, and I made a copy. This is a copy of it right here, and it's a daily diary. And in my book, I just sat there. I sat there for about 2 hours. And I read every page, and before I did anything, I just started reading the pages and turning them real gently. And then he allowed me to make a copy of it because he knew I was sincere in what I was trying to accomplish. And I read excerpts to my class every now and then, but also I put in my book in the Ware family. But what it did, it gave me a window into the past and all the different things that happened and all. So it's fascinating. So when I was reading it, and this is 1882, and the lady over in Panhandle did hers in 1881. So I'm comparing. These notes are very similar in what they were doing in the two of the oldest fishing villages in Florida, with Destin and St. Andrew. So I just thought you'd be interested in it. And I happened to pull out my notes too on Ware family. I was telling you, and I don't have time to get into it, but I would find information on each family and put it in a folder. Well, this is information just on the Ware family that I found old newspaper articles and everything and all. And I started looking at them last night, and I almost didn't get a show plan because I started reading all these things. So fascinating and all, and I was able to put in a book. We'll talk more about it. Some interesting things on tarpon. I found some tarpon that were caught in 1898. So I'll read that article to you later on. But I just wanted to mention that to you. Okay. All right, and let's go and take our break, and we'll be right back. Hi, welcome back. Now we're going to go. That last segment was on our past. Now we're going to go into our future. Okay, and I hope you enjoy. I get a lot of comments when we talk about some of the old stuff and all. But what's coming up in the future now? Whitney, my little granddaughter, my oldest granddaughter, is now getting ready to embark on something that's very exciting. She and her dad are going on an elk hunt in November out in Colorado, and I'm so excited for them. I wish I could go, and I may have an outside chance of just tagging along, but we'll see anyway. But this is about Whitney and her hunt, and I asked Walter and Whitney I said, y'all go ahead and just chronicle on how to get ready for a big game hunt, because it's something I've never done. I've always sort of wanted to do that, sort of on my bucket list and all. But so I've asked them to go ahead and chronicle different things to do in stage one, is what to do about your license and preparing for it and all. So they're going to do that, and actually they've taught Whitney how to start editing. So I've got a little 5-minute video, and they're going to start talking about it. And then she's going to talk about how she's taking a hunter safety course, which is going to go in Jackson County for the range portion, but she's on a computer now on a hunter safety course. So I thought you may find this interesting, because I know some of y'all go out and do some hunting out west and all, and maybe I know a lot of y'all have talked about it, going up at different places and all, but this is one way to do it. They're actually getting an outfitter. So let's roll this little 5-minute video on Walter and Whitney getting ready for their big elk hunt in Colorado in November. Okay?
Hey Winston, it's your first installment on Whitney's Colorado elk hunt, November, the first part. Whitney, tell them about it. How you feel about it?
I'm really excited. It's going to be a lot of fun to be able to go out in the mountains in Colorado and see God's amazing creation, to be able to walk around in it and just experience something so amazing like that. Yeah.
Well, I'm excited too. The first part of the excitement was just in sharing all that with Whitney and having such a big animal to chase, instead of, we're happy to chase Alabama and Florida deer and hogs with night vision. But the excitement was kind of tempered when I looked to see how many miles it is to Colorado. And looking at Google Maps, it is from 3000 Minnesota Avenue in Lynn Haven to Grand Junction, Colorado, 1,828 miles.
Wow.
And can I borrow your truck to do that, please? I think we'll take the car. We'll just strap the elk to the very top and hope it stays cool on the way home. We'll be going in the 3rd rifle season, which is November 2nd to the 10th. And We will drive. We're going to go with an outfitter that I found through Global Safaris. And this outfitter, Whitney, you'll be glad to hear, is very excited about youth being involved in the outdoors and in hunting. So he's willing, for the price of one hunter, to take 2. So that's great. So we've sent him half the payment for that. And supposedly he's been in business for 20 years. I haven't seen any complaints against his business. So those things are in our favor, that the money just won't disappear. Because financial planners do not like for money to disappear. So then once you get the outfitter lined up, you need to talk about licenses and tags. So we have to get Whitney certified through the hunter safety course to be able to provide that information for the tag and license in Colorado. You can get a bull tag for an adult in Colorado for $586 plus a $10 habitat fee. So basically $600 would give me the right to shoot an elk in Colorado. We will be in Unit 41, which is immediately east of Grand Junction, Colorado. That's on the western slope of the Rockies. Whitney, however, only has to pay $100.75 for the right to shoot a bull in Colorado. Congratulations. Do you have that money?
Yes, I do.
Oh, thank the Lord. The outfitter also suggested that we look at shooting a bear or multiple bears while we're out there. He said, I will not charge you to shoot a bear. I need as many of them taken as I possibly can. And so a bear tag, either for Whitney or myself or both, would be $350 each. I asked the outfitter, is it realistic for us to think that she could shoot an elk, that I could shoot an elk, that she could shoot a bear, that I could shoot a bear in 5 hunting days? And he said probably it's more realistic for 1 elk tag each and 1 bear tag. So we're working on that. We will ride horses in to a camp that he's had for about 20 years. It's on public land. He says he's never had problems with other people encroaching on his area because he rides in far enough. There's no motorized vehicles allowed. So he rides in on horseback far enough that normal people don't go, and has never had a problem. So we're counting on that this year. It should be snowing by then. It'll be rifle season. So we're going to get together a 270 rifle from my buddy Sam Phillips with some elk load. We need to sight that in to be able to shoot accurately and confidently at 200 yards. And for the bear, he said that my 243 would be more than enough to be able to put a bear down. And we'll try and get it on video and keep you updated as we go along. So that's the update number 1 on Whitney Lauren Woodrick, the hopeful elk slayer, and her first trip out west.
77 years ago, our founding fathers... Just kidding. So now that I got my dad and old Abe out of the picture, let me explain to you what I've done for my hunter safety. I recently took part of the hunter safety course, but I did it online. And that was basically a test online, but I also have to go out to a shooting range and work on shooting and finish the test. So let me explain to you a couple of the things that they tested me on online. There was game care, wildlife, survival and first aid, firearms, muzzleloading and bow hunting, responsibilities, tree stands, transportation, and additional concerns. And all in all, it was a good test. I actually learned a lot from it, and it was pretty cool, actually. I think that this hunter safety course is going to help me in Colorado, but it's also going to help me be a better hunter here in Florida. I'll be able to use a lot of tools and the knowledge that I gained from it in Colorado and also here. So it's going to be a great experience in both ways.
Welcome back. That looks like a lot of fun, and we're looking forward to following them. And I may get an outside chance to go, but we'll see. But anyway, let's go ahead and get started in this segment here with our fishing game forecast brought to us by Mark Cowart of Edgewater Beach Realty at 832-6000. Had a chance to fish with Mark and Michael recently, and just had a great time fishing with those guys along with Bill Allen. And our times today are 6:49 to 8:49 this morning, and this evening we're looking at 7:15 to 9:15. So 2-hour blocks are both reachable, and hopefully you get a chance to get out and do something. Now, let's get started on this. I'm running out of time before we finish, but we want to get started on it. Each year, the ICAST, which is an organization of the tackle and fishing industry, they'll have a convention. They'll alternate between Orlando one year and Las Vegas one year. This past year is in Las Vegas. And I, of course, didn't get a chance to go. I'm going to go to one of those pretty soon. But I always follow it and find out sort of what's trending in the tackle industry, because there's always something fascinating out there. For example, 2 years ago on the convention floor, there was a booth set up by this guy from Muscle Shoals, Alabama. And he had this rig called the Alabama rig, and y'all saw that. And it took the tackle industry by storm. He had little fishing lures in a row, and had a school of fishing plugs in there, so it caught it by storm, and people just went crazy about it. So each year there's something out there on the convention floor that catches the eye. So they have a team of judges that goes around and judges what's hot and what might be real important. Well, the best of show this year, the best gadget, if you will, in the show this year was put out by Power Pole. Now, Power Pole is an anchoring system that anchors in the back of the boat. What this is a micro anchor. Now, normally that's a tube, a rod sort of slides in and out. It's hydraulic operated. It goes up and down, and this is for smaller boats. The big power poles for the really large boats, but this is a micro anchor by Power Pole. And this is just a picture of it. We're going to try to get one. If any of our dealers, anybody have one, we'll bring one up here and show it to you. But that took the best of show this year in ICAST out in Las Vegas. And let me show you one or two more. They do them by categories, and this category is apparel category, and this was put out by Shimano. This is just a insulated rain gear, but it's top notch and all. And they interview World Fishing Network out there and network, and they interviewed them and all and set all this up. And let's see, we'll come back. We'll show you some more stuff later. We're gonna run out of time, okay? But there are like 15 different categories, and we'll pick them up the rest of this week and show you different categories of what was hot and what was not, okay? Now, that's going to wrap it up for the day. As always, I'm so glad you watched our show this morning. Got some guests coming on tomorrow. Got a big show lined up. And sometime today now, you have a great day, and you do something good for your fellow man. You have a great day, and God bless.
Thanks for joining us for Panhandle Outdoors with Winston Chester. Panhandle Outdoors features hunting, fishing, and other activities and information to help you enjoy the great outdoors. Join us next time for Panhandle Outdoors.